Oh, hello. I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Is how all the YouTube videos used to start back when YouTube was a baby, and I hated it, so I felt like doing it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to talk about a pen that I kind of regret buying, which is an odd way to start a video. Because the pen is great, but I kind of wish I didn't buy it. Has anybody had that before? The pen that we're talking about today is actually a pretty popular pen that I've seen many reviews for. It is not a new pen. It's been around for quite some time. And I have actually had it on my to buy list. I was going to say TBR because I'm a book nerd. But to be read doesn't apply to pens. So TBB, to be bought. Whatever. I've been wanting to get it for quite some time. A couple years, in fact. And I finally did. And now I kind of wish I didn't. It's complicated. Let's just get into it. What are we talking about? Today, we're going to be talking about the Diplomat Aero fountain pen. So this pen, like I said, has been around for quite some time. It's very sleek. It's very gorgeous. Clearly, I have the all black version, and it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I love the design. It's mostly metal, so I love the feel of it. And the little striations that are here feel very nice, very sharp, but not sharp like they're gonna hurt you, but they're definitely sharp in that there's no way around feeling it. You're gonna feel it. And the whole point is it's supposed to look like a blimp, and it kind of does ish. What I adore is this. I could do it all day. All day long. Because it's a snap cap. And I don't know what magic is on the inside of the cap that allows you to do it, because when you look inside the cap, there's nothing there. So I don't know what kind of wizardry is going on in here. If Harry Potter designed this stuff, or Gandalf was all just yo, you're going to be smooth like me. It's so smooth. And so satisfying. I don't do ASMR, but if you guys do or enjoy ASMR, tell the people that you watch to buy one of these, because this is just so satisfying and my favorite thing about the pen. It's so smooth, and that click is just 10 out of 10. Dynamite. Recommend. Yes, please. Makes the brain burr. I don't know. At the top of the pen, I gotta block my face so that this actually focuses. You have the Diplomat logo, which kind of to me looks like an ink splatter, but an ink splatter meets a flower. And then at the bottom, there's nothing. It's just a metal point. Obviously all black. You can get so many colors. There's oranges. Orange was the big thing a few years ago. But there's greens. There's the flame ones that have been hand torched. There's I think a red one. There was a brown one. I think the brown one's gone now. Anyways, there's tons and tons of color options. I just decided to go with the all black version. I debated between that one and the green one for a very long time. But when I made the purchase, I bought it from Wonder Pens in Toronto. And the only one they had at the time was the all black version. I don't have a ton of all black pens in my collection, which to be fair is a lie. Because as I'm thinking about it, I actually have a fair amount. Now, granted, they're not completely all black. There's a little bit of silver on the Lamy, and there's some trim colors there. So I guess I wasn't totally lying. But I do actually have a fair amount. I still have the majority color. I've been selling a lot of my pens recently. To soon, by the way, be coming to all of you. For the past almost week now. It's been exclusive to my Patreon folks. There are still some available if you'd like to jump onto Patreon to take a look. For those of you who have made purchases already, thank you so much. And I very much appreciate you. So why did I buy this pen? Like I said, because it's been on my list for quite some time. Nothing but popular reviews about this pen. Even the grip section is metal, and it's a very long grip section, which is unusual for most. But it is anodized, so it does have a little bit of a grip, and does also then have a little step up here. So that way it is no problem for slippage. And then you do get the stainless steel nib. You can buy gold options, but it's like doubling the price of the pen. And yes, I am using a craft knife as a mic holder. I like the design of the nib. It's pretty simple. You just basically get their flower splat logo that says Diplomat on it, and this is a fine nib. And then you get just an ABS plastic feed. And then this is also very satisfying. That sound. I just like it quite a bit. And then you do get like a Diplomat cartridge converter for bottled ink. Come on. There we go. And it is a standard international though, so you can use whatever you've got. Clearly this one is empty because I just cleaned it, because fun fact, I actually did the writing sample before I'm filming this one, because I had to clean a couple other pens to send them back to folks who loaned them to me, and I was like, I'm just gonna clean this at the same time, so let me do it out of reverse order, cause editing. So why do I regret it? It's simply because I wanted another pen. So I think I briefly mentioned it before. Wonder Pens had another pen on sale. It was a Franklin Christoph that was sort of like a coffee color. So similar-ish to like the brown Sailor and the Pilot Custom 823. And it looked gorgeous. And I was debating between the two. And I went with a Diplomat because it was less expensive. Because being temporarily out of work, I just decided, you know what, I probably shouldn't spend as much as I, but because of that, I think I had a little bit of dampened experience when I got this. I love actually everything about the pen, to be fair. I love the design. I love the weight of it. It is a bit of a weighty pen. I love the way that it feels. I love the way that cap sounds and feels. That's amazing. It sits great in my hand. It's very, very nice. The nib is smooth. It is thinner, actually, than I would prefer. For a fine nib, for being not a Japanese fine, it is a very fine nib. And it's not as wet as I would like. It is more of a dry writer. Granted, I did have Pelikan Edelstein Olivine in it, which is a drier ink. So those two things combined was a little bit of a damper for me. But I think, honestly, I just made the wrong call. This is a perfect pen. I have no beef with it. There's no hard starts. There's no skipping. Like I said, it's not wet enough for me, but that's easily fixed. And for the average person, I think it's perfect. I think the consistency of the flow is perfect for the average person. I'm a weirdo who loves absolute monstrosity of a fire hose, and a lot of people don't. So I'm an outlier in that. So I think that it is perfectly built for the average consumer. But because I wanted that other pen, I think it automatically put a bit of a damper on this for me, which is so sad, and I need to get over it, but I haven't been able to yet. And that sort of experience, I suppose, is the first time that this really has ever happened to me, where I've been umming and ahhing about two different pens, and I made the wrong choice. In the sense of I can't stop thinking about that other pen. It's sold out now, so I don't have a chance to. But I'm wondering if that's ever happened to you, and if that's ever hampered your experience. Because this is a perfect pen. It really is. I should love this pen. Objectively, there is nothing wrong with this pen. Everything is great. It does write really, really well. It's just, I can't stop thinking about that other pen. And that kills me. And I've never had it happen before. I've been in this industry for so long. But that's just where I'm at. That's where I'm at. This is a 10 out of 10 pen, honestly. But I can't stop thinking about the one that got away. And I'm just curious, has that happened to any of you guys? And if it has happened, what did you do? Did you just suck it up and get over it? Did you end up returning it, getting the other one? What did you do? Because I'm curious. I'm very curious. I'm going to put another ink in this, just see what that does. Maybe a wetter ink, and I will kind of work on the nib to make it a little bit wetter. And see if I can get over the loss of that one that got away. Because taking that aside, again, objectively, I love this pen. I highly recommend this pen. I would get a medium nib instead of a fine. So if you prefer like Japanese style extra fines and fines, then get a fine unless I have an outlier. This is the only arrow I've ever used. I have used other Diplomat pens before, but they're not the same nib. They're like the much, much smaller nibs. I don't think I even have one anymore. But I would go for like a medium nib if I were to have the experience I have now and then repurchase an arrow. I would get a medium. Just throwing that out there for whatever that means to you. So yeah, that's really the only difference I would make there. But other than that, yeah, the pen is fantastic. Like I said, 10 out of 10. Recommend. It's just a bummer. And so I do regret buying it, even though it is a perfect pen, and it is probably someone else's pen that got away. Who knows? I love it. I really do. But there's just some regret there, and I can't get over it. I can't, and that's the only way I know how to explain it. And I'm sorry if that, if this, review is odd, because I've never been in this position before. I've had this pen since October, November, somewhere in around there. I don't remember exactly when I bought it, but I haven't been able to get over it. And it's been inked up since then as well. I've gone through, I'm going to guess, probably 3 or 4 milliliters of ink in that time, because I've had so many pens inked up. I have so many pens coming for you guys, by the way, for reviews, none of which have the regret hamper on here, but I just, yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna be repeating myself 10,000 more times if I continue going on here. I mostly just want to know, have you guys ever experienced this before? I don't know how to get over it. I don't. I just feel like I'm in constant mourning. But regardless, I'm going to show you how it writes. Spoiler, it's great. It really is. Get the pen if you can. I recommend it. It's not super cheap. I think it's about 180-ish US dollars, give or take. These pens are wild because I've seen some crazy prices. It's not super cheap, but it is great. And that pen's not going anywhere. It seems indestructible to me. So I think if you pick it up, it'll be a pen you have for the rest of your life. Unless you are like me and you kind of regret it. So you may end up selling it. Who knows? Like I said, for YouTube, you'll see my pens for sale coming up in the next 2 weeks. But for now, let's just get to the writing sample. Alright, let's zoom in a little here for you guys. Oop, maybe a little bit too far. A little bit better, there we are. Alright, so we have the fine nib. This cannot focus apparently if it's that close. I don't know. Fine nib. This is Pelican Olivine ink. It is not a super wet pen. Granted, this is a drier ink, but it's not really that wet of a pen. It's on the drier side, which I would say for the average person, for the average fountain pen, it's actually probably a quote-unquote run-of-the-mill. As far as average wetness goes, I definitely prefer mine significantly more wet, but I think for the average user, this would actually be perfect. You do get a little bit of line variation if you press down, but it is in like no means a flex pen. I've had this inked up for about 2 months now almost. Never any hard starts, never any skips, never anything. This works perfectly. It is a relatively stiff nib when you're just writing along. Like I said, you can get a little bit of pressure, but I mean you've got to put a fair amount of pressure down in order to get that. Reverse writing. It does start to lose it after the first word. So if you've got a very short signature or something, you could maybe do it if you've got like a really saturated ink, but really you can't. That said, like with this being a fine nib, this is a pretty fine, especially for being a Western nib. This is a really fine Western nib. I mean, if I get out just like a rollerball pen, this is just like a uniball. I don't even know like what size, it doesn't say. But if I write that and then use this, this is actually slightly finer than the uniball. So it's pretty darn fine. That said, it's very, very smooth, no issues. It's perfectly well tuned. So definitely pleased with that. My only thing is I would like it to be a little bit more wet. That's easily done. But again, for the average person, this is great. So I have no problems with this whatsoever. So if you get a chance to check it out, I highly, highly recommend it, because it writes really, really well. I think given the chance, if I could go back and do it again, I might actually get a medium, which is something that I don't typically say because I usually like fine nibs better. But this is a tad bit too fine for me. But regardless of that, let me know in the comment section down below if you've tried a Diplomat pen before. If you did, what did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down below. If you haven't done so already, do hit the subscribe. New videos come out every Monday and Friday and the occasional Tuesday. While you're in the description, you can check out the links to my Patreon if you want to help support me in what I do here, as well as links to my Instagram. I post there regularly irregular. But as always, guys, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you next time. Bye.